Let us journey back far beyond human memory to a time when our world was a vast, watery realm. Imagine an ocean so deep and dark that sunlight has never touched its floor. This is the prehistoric deep sea, a place of immense pressure and chilling cold where life first took hold in the most extraordinary and sometimes terrifying forms. For millions upon millions of years, this hidden world was home to creatures that seemed to have sprung from the wildest parts of our imagination. They were the pioneers of the abyss, evolving in complete isolation, crafting unique ways to survive in an environment more alien to us than the surface of another planet. The story of life on Earth is written not just on land, but in the endless, inky blackness of the deep ocean. Here, evolution conducted some of its most daring experiments. Without the familiar cycles of day and night, creatures developed their own sources of light, grew to monstrous sizes, and adopted hunting strategies that are truly stranger than fiction. It is a world governed by different rules, where survival depends not on speed or strength alone, but on remarkable adaptations to pressure, darkness, and a scarcity of food. To understand these ancient beings is to understand the incredible resilience and creativity of life itself, in its most extreme and wondrous forms. The fossils these creatures left behind are like pages from a lost book, telling tales of a world we can only begin to comprehend. They speak of marine reptiles with eyes the size of dinner plates, of sharks that have prowled the depths unchanged for 80 million years, and of delicate, feathery beings that absorb nutrients directly from the water around them. Each discovery gives us a precious glimpse into this ancient underwater kingdom. It reminds us that the history of our planet is largely a history of its oceans, and the most profound secrets are often hidden at the greatest depths, waiting patiently for us to find them. Join me then as we descend into this abyss of time. We will leave the sunlit surface world behind and plunge into the perpetual twilight of the prehistoric seas. Here we will meet the incredible animals that thrived in the crushing darkness. Some are ghosts of the past, long extinct, while others are living relics that have survived against all odds, carrying the legacy of their ancient lineage into the modern day. This is a journey into the heart of mystery, a celebration of the bizarre and beautiful creatures that once ruled the deepest, darkest corners of our world. In the deep, dark ocean, seeing is a remarkable advantage. The Ophthalmosaurus, a marine reptile from 150 million years ago, understood this better than most. Its name hints at its most incredible feature, its eyes. Each eyeball was a staggering 9 inches across, roughly the size of a dinner plate. These were the largest eyes of any animal that has ever lived. Relative to its body size, bony rings, known as sclerotic rings, reinforced these gigantic organs, protecting them from the immense pressure as it plunged into the depths. It was a creature built to see in a world where there was almost nothing to see. The Ophthalmosaurus was a master of the deep dive. Scientists believe it could hold its breath for over 20 minutes, allowing it to descend more than 3,000 feet into the ocean's midnight zone. Down there, in total blackness, its enormous eyes were not useless. They were perfectly adapted to capture the faintest glimmers of light. It likely hunted animals that produced their own light, such as bioluminescent squid and fish. These prey would have appeared as tiny moving sparks in the darkness, and for the Ophthalmosaurus, its huge eyes would have made these sparks as bright as stars, guiding it to its next meal. Another creature with extraordinary vision was the Phosphorosaurus, a type of mosasaur that lived about 70 million years ago. Unlike many of its relatives, this 12-foot-long predator had large eyes that faced forward, giving it binocular vision. This is the same kind of vision that owls and humans have, which provides excellent depth perception. This was a rare trait for a marine reptile, suggesting a very specific way of life. It was a nocturnal hunter, preying on glowing lanternfish and squid under the cover of darkness, where the ability to accurately judge distance was crucial for a successful ambush. Similarly, the Ophthalmosaurus, a plesiosaur from 145 million years ago, used its eyes in a unique way. It lived near the Arctic Circle, a region of long, dark winters. Its name even means Eye of the North. Its large eyes were positioned on top of its head, facing upwards. This adaptation allowed it to swim deep beneath the surface and look up, spotting the silhouettes of its prey against the dim, ambient light filtering down from the polar sky. In the gloomy world of the prehistoric deep, these specialized hunters show that evolution always finds a way to peer through the darkness and find life. Some creatures of the deep are not just stories from the past. They are living relics swimming in our oceans today. One of the most astonishing is the coelacanth. For decades, scientists believed this fish went extinct alongside the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. Its fossil record stretched back an incredible 360 million years, but then it vanished. The scientific world was stunned when in 1938 a living coelacanth was discovered off the coast of South Africa. It was as if a creature from a prehistoric textbook had suddenly swam into the modern world, a true ghost from the ancient past. The coelacanth is a perfect example of a living fossil. It has changed very little over hundreds of millions of years. It lives in deep underwater caves, sometimes more than 600 feet below the surface, a stable environment that has allowed it to survive countless changes that have occurred in the shallower seas. With its fleshy, lobe-like fins that move in an alternating pattern, it almost appears to be walking through the water. This living marvel gives birth to live young and can live for a very long time, carrying the secrets of an ancient world within its very DNA. Another incredible survivor is the goblin shark. This animal has a lineage stretching back 125 million years, and modern specimens look almost identical to their ancient fossilized ancestors. It is perhaps one of the most bizarre-looking sharks, with pinkish, almost translucent skin, a soft and flabby body, and a long flat snout that looks like a blade. But its strangest feature is its jaw. When prey, like a fish or a squid, comes near, the goblin shark can thrust its entire jaw forward, protruding it from its face in a terrifying lightning-fast motion to snatch its meal with its needle-like teeth. These living fossils remind us that the deep ocean is a sanctuary, a refuge where time seems to slow down. The sea lily, an animal that looks like an underwater flower, is another such survivor. In ancient times, vast forests of these creatures grew on stalks up to 60 feet tall. While a mass extinction wiped out most of them, some species retreated into the deep ocean. There, they continue to live today, smaller and more solitary, but still clinging to life in the dark, a testament to the enduring power of adaptation and the stability of the deep-sea world. Sharks are ancient creatures, and some of the oldest lineages still haunt the deepest parts of our oceans. The frilled shark is a prime example, a living nightmare that has been prowling the abyss for 80 million years. This animal was once thought to be long extinct, known only from fossils, until a fisherman caught one in the 1800s. It has a long, eel-like body that can reach 6 feet in length, but its most terrifying feature is its mouth. It possesses around 300 sharp, trident-shaped teeth, all arranged in 25 neat rows. This formidable dental arrangement ensures that once prey is caught, there is absolutely no escape. This strange shark has an equally strange way of hunting. It is believed to lurk in deep-sea caves and crevices, waiting for its moment to strike. With its flexible body, it can lunge forward like a snake, swallowing its prey, often squid or fish, whole. Remarkably, it is capable of consuming animals up to half its own body size, its jaws and stomach expanding to accommodate the large meal. This ability is a crucial adaptation for life in the deep, where food can be incredibly scarce. A large meal might have to last the shark for a very long time before it finds its next. The goblin shark, which we have met before, is another, prehistoric phantom of the deep. Its lineage goes back an astonishing 125 million years, making it one of the oldest shark families. Its most famous trait, the ability to protrude its jaws, is known as slingshot feeding. This allows it to ambush prey from a distance without having to move its entire body, conserving precious energy in the food-poor environment of the deep sea. Its soft, flabby muscles and light skeleton are also adaptations to the high-pressure world it inhabits, where a dense, muscular body would be a disadvantage. These ancient sharks are masters of survival. They have weathered mass extinctions and dramatic changes to the planet's climate by remaining in the stable, unchanging environment of the deep ocean. They are rarely seen by humans living their lives in almost total darkness, hundreds or even thousands of feet below the surface. They are a profound link to a prehistoric past, a reminder that the age of sharks is not over. It continues, hidden from our view in the cold, crushing darkness of the abyss where these magnificent predators still reign. Life in the deep sea demands unique and often, rather bizarre hunting strategies. Consider the Viperfish, a creature that has been perfecting its predatory skills for about 50 million years. This fish is essentially the embodiment of deep-sea terror. Its fangs are so long and sharp that they do not even fit inside its mouth. Instead, they curve back up towards its eyes when its jaw is closed. The viperfish doesn't just bite its prey, it hunts by turning off the lights on its body, going completely dark, and then rocketing towards its target at high speed, impaling the unfortunate victim on its formidable teeth like a spear. This aggressive hunting method comes with its own risks. To protect itself from the shock of impact, the viperfish has a special adaptation, a shock-absorbing bone located just behind its head, which cushions its brain during these high-speed collisions. It also uses bioluminescence in clever ways. Like many deep-sea creatures, it has light-producing organs on its belly to camouflage its silhouette from predators looking up from below. But it also has a lure on a long spine on its back, which it can dangle in front of its mouth to attract smaller fish, drawing them closer to its deadly fangs. The anglerfish is another iconic deep-sea hunter, with a lineage stretching back 50 million years. It is famous for its unique method of attracting food in the pitch-black environment. The female anglerfish has a fleshy, rod-like growth on her head, which acts as a fishing pole. At the tip of this rod is a glowing lure filled with bioluminescent bacteria. She wiggles this light back and forth, tempting curious fish and squid to come closer. When the prey is within striking distance, her enormous mouth opens with incredible speed, sucking the victim into a dark and inescapable trap. The anglerfish also has one of the strangest reproductive behaviors in the animal kingdom. The male is tiny, just a fraction of the female's size, and his only purpose is to find a mate. When he finds a female, he bites onto her body and never lets go. Over time, his body physically fuses with hers. His circulatory system connects to hers, and he loses his eyes and internal organs, becoming little more than a permanent parasitic sperm-producing sac. He receives all his nutrients from the female, and in return he is always there to fertilize her eggs in the vast, empty darkness where finding a partner is nearly impossible. The ancient oceans were home to creatures with truly extraordinary body plans. One of the most peculiar was Ophthalmosaurus, a type of Ammonite that lived during the time of the dinosaurs. Unlike its more famous relatives with their neat spiral shells, Ophthalmosaurus had a shell shaped like a giant paperclip. These bizarre U-shaped shells could grow to be enormous, sometimes reaching up to 10 feet in height. For a long time, scientists were puzzled by how such an oddly shaped creature could have lived. It seemed too awkward and unwieldy to be an effective swimmer or hunter. Recent studies of the growth rings on its shell have revealed another astonishing fact. Ophthalmosaurus may have lived for up to 200 years. This is an incredibly long lifespan for a cephalopod, the group that includes modern squid and octopus. It is believed that this slow-growing giant floated vertically in the water column, its heavy shell acting as a stabilizer. With its head and tentacles hanging down, it would have drifted passively through the water like a living fishing line, snatching any small crustaceans or other prey that happened to pass by. Its strange shape was perfectly suited for a slow, patient, and long life. Another master of the deep was Abyssosaurus, a plesiosaur from the early Cretaceous period, whose name fittingly means bottomless lizard. This marine reptile evolved a remarkable adaptation for living near the sea floor. It had extremely dense, heavy bones. These bones were not a disadvantage. They acted as built-in ballast weights, making it easier for the animal to sink and remain in the deep ocean without expending much energy. This allowed it to conserve its strength for hunting in the dark, high-pressure environment of the abyss, far below the more active predators in the sunlit waters above. With its small head, long neck, and large eyes, Abyssosaurus was well equipped for life near the ocean floor. It likely cruised slowly through the darkness, using its long, flexible neck to search for food. Its large eyes would have helped it spot the faint bioluminescence of squid and fish that lived in the depths. By evolving these heavy bones, Abyssosaurus carved out a niche for itself in a world few other large reptiles could reach. It shows how life will always find a way to colonize even the most challenging environments, using ingenious evolutionary solutions to overcome incredible obstacles. Long before the reign of giant reptiles and monstrous fish, life in the ocean was even stranger. Let us go back 565 million years to meet Charnia. This organism was one of Earth's earliest large, complex life forms, and it looked like nothing alive today. It resembled a 2-meter-tall feather, or a frond, anchored to the deep-sea floor. It had no mouth, no stomach, and no eyes. It was a completely stationary being, living its life in silent darkness. Scientists were long mystified by how it could have survived, as it seemed to lack any of the basic features we associate with animal life. The secret to Charnia's survival lay in its skin. It is believed that it absorbed nutrients directly from the seawater through its large surface area. Its body was built on a pattern of branching fractals, a design that maximized its ability to draw sustenance from the surrounding water. Charnia and its relatives represent a very early and ultimately failed evolutionary experiment. They belong to a group of organisms that left no known descendants. When they disappeared, their entire blueprint for life vanished with them, a lost chapter in the story of evolution. Other early life forms found equally strange ways to thrive. Near hydrothermal vents or black smokers, which spew superheated, chemical-rich water, life found a way. Here, 430 million years ago, lived ancient tube worms. These creatures anchored themselves near these toxic vents in an environment that would be deadly to most other life forms. Like Charnia, they had no eyes and no mouths. Instead, they survived through a remarkable partnership. They hosted special bacteria inside their bodies, which could consume the poisonous chemicals from the vents and turn them into energy for the worm. This strategy, called chemosynthesis, was so successful that it is still used today. Modern tube worms that live near deep-sea vents use the exact same symbiotic relationship with bacteria to survive. They are living proof that some evolutionary solutions are so perfect that they can endure for hundreds of millions of years. These ancient pioneers, from the feather-like Charnia to the chemical-eating tube worms, show the incredible diversity of ways that life can find a foothold even in the most hostile and alien environments on our planet, crafting a living from fire, poison, and darkness. In the vast expanse of the deep ocean, food is often scarce. When a large animal from the upper ocean, such as a whale or a large fish, dies and sinks, its body becomes a sudden and precious feast on the seafloor. This event, known as a whale fall, attracts an army of scavengers from miles around. One of the most important of these is the giant isopod. These creatures, which look like enormous armored woodlice, have been crawling on the ocean floor for at least 30 million years. They can grow to the size of a football, a phenomenon known as deep-sea gigantism. Giant isopods are the ultimate survivors. As scavengers, they must be able to go for extremely long periods without food, waiting for the next carcass to fall from above. They can survive for up to 5 years without a single meal. One famous captive specimen went on a hunger strike for 5 years before it died, baffling its keepers. When they do find a food source, they gorge themselves, eating so much that they may have difficulty moving afterwards. This feast or famine lifestyle is perfectly suited for the unpredictable nature of the deep-sea food supply. They can also roll into a defensive ball, using their tough armor to protect themselves. Another group of ancient scavengers were the blind trilobites. Trilobites were an incredibly successful group of marine arthropods that lived for hundreds of millions of years. While many of their ancestors had some of the most advanced compound eyes of their time, a number of trilobite species that moved into the deep ocean evolved to have no eyes at all. In the total darkness of the abyss, sight was useless, so they simply lost it. Instead, they navigated the sea floor and found their food using their long, sensitive antennae, which they used to feel and smell their way through the mud. These blind scavengers were remarkably resilient. They survived multiple mass extinctions that wiped out many other forms of life. Their simple, effective lifestyle of crawling along the bottom, feeding on detritus and decaying matter, allowed them to persist for an immense period of Earth's history. Like the giant isopods, they were experts at making a living from the leftovers of the ocean. These humble scavengers play a vital role, cleaning the sea floor and recycling nutrients, ensuring that nothing goes to waste in the deep, dark, and hungry world of the abyss. Our journey into the prehistoric deep sea has shown us a world of incredible wonders and terrifying monsters. We have met reptiles with eyes as big as plates, sharks that have cheated extinction for 100 million years, and feathery beings that represent a lost branch on the tree of life. Each creature tells a story of survival against impossible odds, of adaptation in a world of crushing pressure, freezing cold, and eternal darkness. These animals are a testament to the boundless creativity of evolution, which has sculpted life into an almost infinite variety of strange and beautiful forms. Yet for all that we have learned from fossils and the few living relics that survived, the deep ocean remains the most mysterious place on Earth. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the floor of our own seas. Over 80% of our ocean is unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. What other creatures, both living and extinct, lie hidden in those depths? What other evolutionary experiments are waiting to be discovered, locked away in ancient rock, or still swimming silently in the abyss? The possibilities are as vast and as deep as the ocean itself. These ancient monsters are more than just curiosities from a distant past. They hold vital clues about the history of life, the resilience of ecosystems, and the limits of survival. The living fossils, like the coelacanth and the frilled shark, are precious windows into a prehistoric world, allowing us to study animals that have survived what others could not. They teach us about stability, adaptation, and how life can endure through eons of change. Their continued existence depends on the health of our deep oceans, a realm that we are only now beginning to understand is vulnerable to human impact. The story of the deep sea is far from over. It is a story that is still being written, with each new dive and each new discovery. The ghosts of the prehistoric ocean serve as a powerful reminder of how much there is still to learn, and how important it is to protect this last great wilderness on our planet. The darkness of the deep holds not just monsters, but also marvels. It is a world of profound mystery and breathtaking wonder, and it will continue to inspire our curiosity and our respect for the incredible, enduring power of life underwater.